In the modern watch market landscape, it's very hard to find value in the most popular selling brand in the world today, and that is Rolex. However, today I wanted to present to you 5 amazing options that are perfect as your first Rolex or to add to an existing collection. So let's get right into it. Guys, before we get into today's video, I'd really appreciate if you hit the like button, subscribe for more videos like this in the future. The support is super appreciated. I really would like to hit 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I know it is a lofty goal, but I'm sure that we can achieve it with all of your support. Thank you so much for watching. So guys, as I mentioned, today I wanted to count down 5 of my favorite, what I feel are some of the most undervalued Rolex models out there. Starting first with the Rolex Oyster Perpetual. This is the OP39 reference 114-300, a watch that I feel has become criminally underrated in the watch market landscape today. I mean, we're talking about a watch around or under the $7,000 price point with characters on the dial that simply are unmatched by the modern Oyster Perpetual and that I think are also unmatched by the modern Datejust lineup. Take this slate dial, for example, which has amazing baby blue accents in the absolute perfect case size, 39 millimeters, with all brushed accents to the actual watch itself. This is a watch you can wear very casually, even on vacation, because it has 100 meters water resistance, something that is very low key, something that is very easy to wear, and that will pretty much go with absolutely anything. And at under $7,000, it's hard for me to find a better value from Rolex. Sure, it doesn't have a complication, but I think the classic, very timeless design to it, its very simple aesthetic lends itself to being super versatile overall. And the fact that it's a Rolex means that it's absolutely bulletproof. Now, of course, $7,000 is not cheap, but in the world of Rolex, I think it's a lot of value for money, considering this is a modern watch with a modern bracelet, modern case, and a modern movement, all of which I think are better compared to the neo-vintage kind of bracelets or movements of old from Rolex, especially in the Oyster Perpetual line where you're talking about just a simple time-only watch. You want something that performs, that is robust, and that of course is highly water resistant, which all of this watch is. Now next up will be a watch I do have in front of me from this lineup. It is the Explorer II, although this is a 216570. I'm not the biggest fan of these references because of course the 42 millimeter case size. I mentioned in the past that I'd really love to see the 16570 case size return, 40 millimeters with the red GMT hand. I think those are really the golden age of Explorer IIs. The 16570s I think represent some of the absolute best values from Rolex, right? These are 5-digit watches. Again, very, very solid design, although you get the kind of slightly flimsier bracelet compared to the modern ceramic pin bracelets. However, the movement is absolutely bulletproof. The design is perfect. In 40 millimeters, I really feel it's the absolute perfect size. And again, around the $6,000 to $7,000 price point, you know, depending if you're getting a watch-only example or a full set, whether it's the black or the white dial, you truly can't go wrong. And I feel that they're some of the best made watches from Rolex and really one of the last true kind of tool watch lineups in all of Rolex, right? You used to kind of look at the Explorer lineup. Right now the Explorer one has kind of the two-tone variation, which is, you know, not very kind of, I guess a little bit more trendy, not very much of a tool watch in and of itself. But the Explorer II has remained kind of unmarred in its aesthetic and of course in its build. Having an all-steel brushed case, brushed bezel, and of course a super legible dial lends itself to being a perfect everyday wear. Again, whether you're on vacation or you're just kind of performing day-to-day activities, this watch can truly handle it all and does so in a very stylish way. And I think the Explorer II, particularly in the 16570, is a great pickup, but also in the 216570. Next up on my list is going to be probably the most unique Rolex ever made, and that is the Rolex Milgauss. Now, of course, if we're talking the Rolex Milgauss, I'm talking the modern 116-400. I like in particular with the GV glass just because there simply is nothing else like it. If you're looking for the most uniquely styled and uniquely designed Rolex on the market today, look no further than the Milgauss. Something that they just don't make anymore. And whether you're looking at the 116-400 without the GV glass or with the GV glass, both are just super unique in their design. There's really nothing else like it, even in the modern Rolex lineup, that I think lends itself to being really one of the most unique watches from the brand. Specifically also, I love it, the fact that it is a tool-driven watch, right? The fact that the Milgauss has still that iron cage. Although it adds a little bit of heft and thickness to the actual watch itself, it is very, very easy to wear on a day-to-day basis. Now, I would love to see Rolex reintroduce this lineup. The fact that they created this GV glass, this green glass, without ever patenting, and the fact that Rolex patents pretty much everything else just tells you the level of difficulty to just create this kind of green sapphire crystal. it must have been enormous in terms of the costs and just being able to create this on a regular, steady basis that Rolex simply just doesn't want to keep doing it in the modern kind of era. I would love to see this reimagined with an all-brush case and all-brush bracelet to really go back to its tool watch roots. Of course, nowadays with silicone components, you really don't need the iron core, which would make the watch actually a lot thinner, and maintaining that kind of super unique styling of the Milgauss with that lightning bolt hand would be really, really cool. So I'd love to see Rolex reintroduce it. Who knows, maybe for the 50th anniversary, some important anniversary of the Milgauss, we'll see it again. But as of right now, I think that the GV Milgauss under $10,000 really can't be beat if you're looking for a super uniquely designed watch from the crown. And I just think that there really is nothing else like it. The fourth most undervalued Rolex for me is going to be its most complicated watch, and that is the Rolex Sky-Dweller. Now, you can also include the Rolex Yachtmaster II, although I think that the complications are not as useful as the Sky-Dweller. The Yachtmaster II still does represent an amazing value. I just think the Sky-Dweller is a little bit more wearable and much more functional in its aesthetic, and of course also just its overall complications. The fact that you're getting an annual calendar with a GMT from Rolex, I think is nothing short of spectacular, considering you're getting the incredible accuracy, incredible reliability for a complication that is pretty classic and that, generally speaking, is not made to sustain the kind of wear and tear that Rolex watches are built for. Now, again, the Sky-Dweller is going to trade, generally speaking, over its retail price in all variations, whether you're looking at the steel or the two-tone models. But I think, bar none, the absolute best value in all of watches is probably a two-tone Sky-Dweller. I mean, you could pick up two-tone Sky-Dwellers now for, I believe, under their current retail price, which is actually really, really high. I think they're somewhere in the $15,000 to $18,000 price range, depending on the dial that you're getting. For the 326 reference, I think that represents an exceptional value considering you're getting a bimetal watch with an incredible complication that's built super solid, that has a great look to it, that is very, very heavy and very, very attractive, that overall is perfectly designed for everyday use. And if it's your only Rolex, I mean, it's hard to pick a better Rolex out there. It's complicated, it's well designed, it's well built, and of course it's built for purpose, right? You can travel with it, the fact that it has that second kind of time zone, and again, the annual calendar being a super functional complication that you can use on an every single day basis. And last but certainly not least is going to be from my favorite model line, and that is the GMT-Master II. Now, I've been on record that the GMT-Master II for me is without question the best watch Rolex makes. I think it's super functional. Aesthetically, it's the nicest designed GMT out there. And of course, just in terms of wearability, proportions, it nails everything and just hits it out of the park on a consistent basis. Now, of course, Rolex released, I believe it was last year or the year before, or this year or last year, the new Bruce Wayne models, which have the black and gray bezels that are now trading upwards of $18,000. And for the life of me, I just don't understand anyone paying the premium for that when you can get a 116710 LN, the all black bezel GMT, for a fraction of that price. Literally, basically half price, around the $10,000 to $12,000 price range, depending on if it's full set or watch only. For me, that is one of the most attractive, perfectly designed watches with the green GMT hand, the all black look. It is literally like a souped up Submariner, but with the additional GMT complication. And I think everything about that watch is perfect. The way that it's designed, how functional it is, its aesthetics, its proportions, everything about that watch, the 116710 LN, is absolutely perfect. And even, for example, if you're looking for something that has a bicolor bezel, the 116710 BLNR around the $14,000 to $15,000 price range, I think represents an exceptional value Rolex. Again, people are paying much more than that for the new reference, but for the life of me, I personally don't understand, considering you're getting a tried and tested movement from Rolex without, of course, the upgrades. But again, the aesthetics are exactly the same pretty much compared to the modern Rolex GMT-Master II with the Batman bezel. Yes, you won't be able to retrofit it with a Jubilee bracelet, but if you're buying it with an Oyster bracelet, it still has those ceramic pins, making it super solid and a perfect everyday wear. For me, without question, the best one and done Rolex is the Rolex GMT, and I feel that if you have no other Rolex in your collection, the GMT is the one to get. And without question, the 116710 LN represents one of the absolute best values and best buys in the overall Rolex market today. Guys, let me know what you think of my list down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, again, please be sure to like it, subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Let me know down in the comments what you'd like to see from me here on the Berdine Jewelry YouTube channel. It always is appreciated to have your support. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Marco from Berdine Jewelry. As always, I'll see you guys in the next one.